So I wanted to make a wizard tower on the back of the Treant. So I'm going to be taking this large piece of SPF foam and carving it on the sides and trying to round it out over time. This took me probably 5 to 6 minutes to really do. And then I'm just comparing it to the back. Then I decided that this piece was too big, so I cut them into separate pieces and I made this layering effect. I didn't really know what I was going for at this point in time, so I just kind of was chopping things up and seeing what really worked for me. Half the time when you're doing these things and you're kind of just going with the flow and seeing how things go, which really makes it enjoyable. So I made this kind of brick laid in pattern, and I didn't really like it too much, so I decided to chop it down, chop it into a point. And you'll see it kind of looks like a pencil. Obviously, yeah, there you go. So it's starting to look more like a pencil than anything else, but later on it's gonna look really good. And I did that to the other two. So I made 3 of these total. And then I cut out this part on top to give it a little bit more detail. And that wasn't too challenging. I just made score marks on the top, how I marked it with the marker, cut them both equally on the same side, cut into the grooves, beveled the edges, and it's just going to give it a kind of different look than just having it round on top, which is nice. And then this part, just some extra details I made. Took a small piece of XPS foam and then carved in some edging on the sides and put it on all 4 corners where I have the top parts coming open. And this thing's starting to kind of come together. And then I thought, what if it had like these weird fingers coming up on top? So I made 4 fingers and put them like that. And I think that's looking pretty neat. Then we did some more detail work on the side, putting on these, just these small pieces of XPF foam to kind of make these lines. I think really bust this piece out just a little bit more. And just adding small bits of detail to anything is really beneficial when you're doing this kind of stuff, because you can make something that looks pretty plain and something that looks really cool with minimal work. Now I redid the same process I did in the beginning, but I made 2 smaller ones. This is me making the door. Just sped that part up for time's sake. Carving in my edge lines, tracing, and finding where I'm going to place it. Cutting out that area, which wasn't very hard at all. And this is not perfect by any means. The wizard tower was not the centerpiece of this product or of the project, but I still wanted to look somewhat good. So I didn't put as much time into the door as I normally would though. Cutting out the door frame, putting it there, gluing it down, and then putting in brick detail onto the side of it. Now we're going to make the top ring for where the wizard is going to stand, and just tracing a piece of XPS foam with some duct tape, cutting it out very carefully. Remember, these blades can break pretty easily if you bend them too far, so definitely be careful at this point. Try not to hurt yourself at all. Cutting out the middle ring. This was a timely process. Doing this is very tedious and slow, but I think it looked pretty good when it came out. And then we're just going to place it right on top. First, I'm going to add some brick detail to the bottom part so I don't have to do it later when the ring's there. And then we're going to glue that part right on. And now this is the hatch, or the trap door for the top of it. All I did was take a small piece of XPS foam and carve in some wood detail and a ring around it. And I think it looked okay. It didn't look great, but it looked pretty okay. Put some bricks on the side. And we glued it right in the spot. And then we have a small ring. And these rings you can find at Walmart. If you need to know anything about them, just let me know in the description. And then we are carving in more brick detail onto the top pieces of the wizard tower, give it more depth. Putting in these lines, just pieces, small piece of XPS foam again. And adding this middle ring to the outside pillars that we made earlier. And then we're adding some small bits and details just to kind of give this thing a little bit better of a shape than just a round pillar, and to cover up some of those double contact lines. These pieces I just had laying around from another project, so I just put them on there. And then we're adding 4 of these spots on the front. And then we're taking a small piece of XPS foam and bending it around this piece in the middle, which is going to give it a nice shape. Now we're taking 4 bigger bricks, and this is where the wizard tower, or the towers, are going to go onto, the small things we made earlier. So I made 3 of those. And adding some more detail, we have a small piece of XPS foam that we just wrapped onto it that makes it look like it's help supporting the piece. And we did that 3 times. Adding this extra slope piece to the bottom so we can connect it to the treant later. And I'm just kind of showing you what these pieces look like right now before I put some paint on them. We are using black paint and white for the wizard tower, and that's it. Well, with some gray on top for the brickwork, which you see right here. But I wanted to keep it simple, and I wanted to keep the main point of this piece onto the treant, because I think that's the real star of the show. So I put some gray on the top pieces, even did the trapdoor, and this is the white dry brushing onto the black that really makes this piece stand out. Adding just some white and black dry brushing is just, it can do so much, and I think it looked really, really good on this to make it kind of have that dark wizard kind of vibe. Did that all over this piece and on the wizard tower. If you wanted to make this like a snow-based thing, you could do the same thing with just adding bits of snow everywhere and white, and that works too, but I think the way this turned out was, I was really happy with it. And now we're adding some brown to the door. Just a basic wood door, nothing fancy or special. We'll add silver metallic on the handles later. Now I'm adding different shades of brown and grays and light browns and all that to this piece to kind of give it a different color variety than what it looks like right now. Sorry, I have a hard time speaking, I guess. So we're adding different colors to this piece, to the treant. And I think it's starting to kind of come together, which is really nice. Adding the different colors, you could do stuff with the feet. For example, putting more dirt on it to make it muddy. In this we're adding a bone white, and it makes this piece look way better, just like we did with the wizard tower with the white. And we're going to add some purple eyes here. And the whole idea behind this is that the wizard is like controlling this peaceful treant for his evil doing. And I think that's pretty cool. I like the concept and the idea behind it, so I thought purple eyes would match. And now we're going to give everything a nice wash. And by everything, I mean the brown and the wood door and the treant, not the whole black piece of the wizard tower. But the wash really gets in all these little nooks and crannies of the bark, and I think it just looks so good. Even when it dried, it looked really, really nice, so I'm happy. I'm very happy on how this piece turned out. So we're just going to continue to do that all over. And now we're assembling the 3 pillars onto the wizard tower. This was pretty easy, just use hot glue. Just had to take your time and hold it there for 1 minute to 2 minutes, which was a little annoying, but yeah, you see it fell off there. But yeah, it looks really good, and it's super easy. Hot glue I love. And now we're grabbing our lich, our wizard. So I bought this from Mall of America, which is a big mall near Bloomington, I believe. And we're just attaching him onto the very top of the wizard tower. And guys, that's it. Now we have to just attach them onto the back, and that's the wizard tower with the Treant. So I hope you enjoyed, and get ready. Alright everyone, so if you watched the video all the way to this part, I just want to say thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber, please think about subscribing and leaving a like and a comment and all that. It all helps out, and telling some of your friends. But this is it. This is the giant Treant with the wizard tower on the back, and I think it turned out really well. Obviously there's some things that I could have done better and done different, but I think it's really good. I really like it. If you can see here, I did some work off camera. This was really hard to actually put on. Like, it did not go on very easily, so I had to put extra pieces of wood to kind of hold it on, which is just bark. Same bark I use for a skin. I didn't color those or anything. They already have a lot of detail and color on it themselves. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making this thing. I think this thing's really sweet. Probably won't make another big project like this for a super long time, or at least for a couple weeks to a month or something like that. But I really hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Have a good one.